There is a man who wants to marry you. He used to be a member of the Boko Haram terror group. Yes, the same terror group that raided your village a decade ago, kidnapping, killing, and displacing thousands of people, all in an effort for an insurgency. But now he has surrendered to the Nigerian state and undergone a deradicalization program. They say he has changed. Should you marry him? At first, you do not know, but eventually you marry him. You wonder if it will turn out to be a mistake. 3 years later, you have your answer. Welcome to Vestiges of Violence. Here, we talk about survivors. For Humanago, I am Hawa. Maijiddah was 23 years old when Baba approached her, wanting to marry her. Her first husband had died years before. At first, she did not know what to do because of his past as a Boko Haram member. The group is, after all, directly responsible for the deaths of over 35,000 people and the displacement of over 2 million people in Nigeria. But eventually, she married him. They lived happily for a few months until they started to experience some problems due to living with his parents. Still, she remained patient for a while. But one day, 3 years into their marriage, after they were resettled as displaced people into a community in Nguro Soye, her husband suddenly sprung an idea on her. He wanted to join a local volunteer security outfit, he said, so that he could go into the bush and fight. His parents said no. They thought it was a miracle that he had even left the Boko Haram terror group to begin with. They were unwilling to let him join another group that would allow him to wield any kind of weapon. They feared that he would want more and that one day he might act extrajudicially. But as the economic instability intensified, he grew more and more restless. He even began to become hostile towards her. And one day, he announced the unthinkable. He wanted to go back to Boko Haram. It was either that or they let him join the local task force, he said. As the absence of law and order in their resettled community in Nguro Soye continued to go on, with terrorists infiltrating farms and harming people, sometimes even killing them, Baba saw how easy it would be for him to return to the terror group undetected. Maijiddah's only source of income was to go into the bushes to fetch firewood and sell. But this has become less and less lucrative, especially with people getting attacked by terrorists.
Even this morning, we went in search of firewood, but were unsuccessful because we saw terrorists from a distance. There are no schools or hospitals. There is only one dispensary and it is not even in the village. It is all the way in Bama.
When Baba first surrendered to state forces, he underwent the deradicalization program. He was given some clothes, some food, and even some money. For some time, it felt like this was a good start, but not anymore. Not only did Baba want to return to Boko Haram, he also wanted Maijiddah to come with him with their baby. Maijiddah refused. Life as a returnee in a resettled community has been difficult, but not enough to make her go to Boko Haram like many other people have been doing. As they continued to argue about it, it became clear that they had to divorce because his mind was already made up. Now she is back living with her mother in a single room alongside many other people. And her ex-husband?
His family saw that he was actually serious about going back, so they allowed him to join a local security outfit instead. I heard he has been given a motorcycle and weapons and has begun to go for operations in the bush with other members of the vigilante group.
Baba's conduct raises serious questions about the motives people have for joining terror groups. Are they all ideologically driven, or are some of them simply acting from a place of bloodthirst? And how secure and democratic are the communities that people like Maijiddah and Baba are being resettled to. Maijiddah has a baby now. She is 26 years old with no money or food. It is not an arrangement that works for her, but for now, it will have to do. This episode was supported by the Pulitzer Center as part of a series interrogating the state of democracy and safety in Nigeria's resettled communities. This episode was reported and written by Hawa Shafi'i Nuhu. The multimedia editor is Anthony Asemota. The executive producer is Ahmad Salkida. To protect the identities of survivors, we use voice actors for this episode. If you or anyone you know have a story to share on vestiges of violence, do not hesitate to reach out to us.